fanya, fanya kazi, fanya kazi ya Bwana.
Good evening, viewers, and karibuni sana kwa KAK TV. It is the second day of November. It has been the PCMF week. We know a lot has been happening through your parishes, your LCCs, and your presbyteries. I passed by a parish called Thogoto Parish, and I know they've done a lot of work. I know they've got plans for boys' initiation ceremonies on the 5th of December. We know a lot has been happening, and we want to welcome you all in here. Today, we want to have some pretty interesting topics, and we want to invite you to participate, get to send us an SMS, ask us questions. We'd like to make it as interactive as possible. Tunajua kwamba Kenya leo hakuna stima in many areas, but we know you'll probably live stream and get to interact with us. Before we start, I have got my guest with us. Some shop guys here, and I'll ask that you get to introduce yourself. So tell us your name, tell us what you do, and then we can take it from there.
Thank you very much, Douglas. I think by looking at me, you meant that I should start, right?
Right.
Okay, good evening, viewers. My name is Titus Kuria Mbogwa. I fellowship with other men at Kirenga PCA Church, and those wondering where it is in Kirenga Parish, Larry Presbytery, located just past Limuru. That's where I fellowship. I am in social development, but beyond that, I am a father and I am a full member of the Presbyterian Church Men Fellowship, and I'm really, really proud to be part of this discussion, to just get to understand what are the psychological issues, men and family, and looking forward to the engaging discussions with my fellow men here.
Great.
Beautiful. Thank you so much. Good evening, everyone. My name is Peter Matere, mostly known as Peter Tesh, and I am glad to be again here at KAK TV in a man's week. I'm saved. Christ is Lord upon my life. I worship at PCA Nairobi West Parish, and I minister to the young people, both the teens and the youth. And of course, that is where the PCMF is, in the midst of those people. And more than that, I'm married to one beautiful lady. Moderator, it's always good to say to who in the society that we are living today. So to one beautiful lady, and we are blessed with 2 daughters. And we thank God because of giving us an opportunity again to be able to discuss about us men. Thank you.
All right, David.
Yes, thank you.
About you.
Good evening, viewers. My name is David Medhoa Wawero, and more to that, I'm saved. I love the Lord God as my personal Savior. And I fellowship at PCA Tumaini, Mwihoko Parish. That's where I fellowship, and I'm grateful to be hosted by KAK TV this evening to discuss on issues pertaining men and what they go through. I also want to say that I'm a husband to one wife, Lydia, and we are blessed with 2 children, Abigail and Gabriel. And I'm happy to be amongst you guys, even to discuss on matters pertaining men and the issues they go through. Thank you.
All right, now we know the panel we have. And my name is Douglas Nyoro. I am a full PCMF member. I belong to the Presbyterian Church of the Torch in Kikuyu, Thogoto Parish. I am a father to teenagers, some who are living home now. I'm happily married, by and large, as we say. So welcome to the show.
Thank you. Thank you.
Kabla tuanze topic ya leo. You guys are all pretty young, and you're all full members of the PCMF. Usually PCMF is joined by old people. Na watu wengi wanasema kipara, mvi, hauoni kona macho ine, lazima kakoti kameinama, you've retired. So 2 questions. One, why do people, Peter, think that PCMF ni ya wazee? And then So why? And number two, David, why did you join the PCMF? So let's start with Peter.
Thank you for asking David why he joined PCMF.
What drove you?
Yes, so he can be able to answer that. Well, first of all, I think majority of people think that PCMF is your retirement benefit. Where else can you go when you are in a setup?
Yes.
So the mentality, which is very wrong, by the way, they think after they have enjoyed life, after they have been in Sunday school, brigade, teenagehood, they have gotten into the youth, and now they ask themselves, okay, so where else? What else can I join? But in that sense, as you said, we are young and proud to be PCMF members.
Yes.
It's because of the realization that there is a lot of wealth in wisdom in the aspect of who do you interact with. Because again, when you keep interacting with just the people who are at your age level, there's so much you lose in terms of wisdom, in terms of knowledge. So basically, I think most of them think it is a group where you join when you are finished. It's like a rite of passage. You have moved the steps. So this is where you end. But contrary to that,
Retirement.
yes, sasa ya kukaa hapo, because you don't have somewhere else you will go. But contrary to that, personally I think it's one of the best interactive places that men, regardless of whether they are young or old, should have a forum to be together.
Great. David.
Yes.
Before David answer, I'd want to join in the conversation because as he was speaking, I think something came to my mind. And when he talks about retirement and old age, and we are here to speak about psychological issues, but you realize that it's one of the loneliest stages in life. And if you have ever interacted, and everyone is scared of retirement, you know, if someone retires, they ask you, so you're retiring to go and do what?
So basically, hence, according to Peter, you're retiring to join PCMF.
Yeah, but you know, speaking about the wazee, I've heard this term a lot, and I think I sit in this space, not in the youth bracket, but tunasema kwa wazee mimi ndio ule kijana mdogo. So there's this saying by the men that I am retired but not tired.
Yes.
But then that is a sign that people are looking for some social connection.
Okay, hold the thought.
Okay.
David.
Yes.
PCMF.
One of the reasons I joined PCMF, it's as my brothers here are saying, after you've gone through some stages, you're looking for a sense of belonging.
It is.
Then maybe you've gone through the stage of Sunday school, you've gone through the youth, you've gone through brigade and all that. Then you reach a certain age, you've gotten married, you've married, then you look at yourself, where do I belong? I don't fit in the youth, I don't fit in the women's guild, and now because I'm a man, that is the only place I'll have to go. So by default, I'll find myself in PCMF, not necessarily knowing even exactly what am I going to do there. So that is the most perspective of many people. When they come to of age, some of them have gotten married, they've reached to certain ages, they feel they don't relate well with the youth. So where else will I go?
Okay.
And I'm a part of this church.
I think the PCMF story is something we shall discuss nicely again. So let's get into today's topic, which is about psychological wellness.
Yes.
Titus, may I call you Tito?
Please, I wanted to be cool. So
And from seeing, the way you're dressed and the way you're easy and calm, I hope that the young guys can see, really you're young and savvy looking and people can join PCMF. I should come like that next time.
please, uniformity.
So psychological wellness. What is that? What is psychological wellness? Iyo ni nini? If you can, in your own words, try and get to demystify that for us.
I'm not sure that I can exhaust what it really means to have psychological wellness, but I think it's being at peace. And this reminds me of a song that is told, "You sleep in the storm." And just to give an analogy of what that means is that there was once a farmer and there was a storm.
Yes.
And he had one of his workers. So in his bed, he could feel the strength of the storm. So when he got out, his house or where the guy sleeps was almost flooded. But surprisingly to him, when he got into that house, the guy was sleeping.
Okay.
So that translated to sleep in the storm. If you are not well psychologically, I'm not sure you can be able to sleep in the storm. So that for me is what I would translate to be psychological wellness, that irrespective of what is going on around you.
Anybody else with
I would also
something
think I'll term it as self-acceptance.
psychological wellness?
Yes. Maybe self-acceptance in a way that, first of all, whatever you're going through, whatever that is happening in you, first of all, you believe in yourself and you have confidence in yourself. And when you have that acceptance that this is what is happening in me, first of all, whatever, irrespective of how hard it could be, but you can maneuver around it because, first of all, you've accepted yourself. I think in that line.
Okay.
So that, from what I can pick, Douglas, is that we are basically looking at the wholesomeness of a man, how the man would feel, I am okay.
I am okay.
I am
psychologically, in my psyche, the way my situation
Yes.
is.
Yes.
Nimetulia,
Niko sawa.
I am comfortable with where I am.
Yes.
Okay, so what's our society like today? And I'm just thinking, you see, speaking about stress, let's talk about stress and stress management. There's a lot of depression. There's a lot of suicide. There's a lot of murder. And let's look at men. Let's dwell with men today because we're in the PCMF story, isn't it?
Yeah.
Regardless of the age. From wazes, 70, 80 years now, to vijanas who are 13, 14 years. What's going on?
Well, let me start because I happened to be with the younger people in the ministry. And I would put this back to getting back to our history, because the effects of today has something to do with where we have come from. And if we don't understand where we have come from, then it becomes very hard for us to be able to understand where we are and how to be able to handle where we are. Because I would think majority of us will accept the notions of an African man and the disciplines that was instilled in us. There is some things that men were told that they are not important to them. For instance, when we are talking about the wellness of a whole man, then where does emotions come in? Because you want to feel you are okay. So is it okay to cry? As a man, is it okay for you to showcase your emotions? And I would want to pick this, that it is very easy to talk about issues of men in theory and encourage them, but very hard practically.
You see, men don't talk.
Very true.
Yes.
Men don't talk.
Yeah.
Anakimia.
Anakimia. And
So
it's
how-
because of the society or how people have grown that when men have issues and even so difficult issues they are going through, you handle them as a man.
So how do you get men? Because you handle it as a man, meaning mwanaume nitajikaza lazima nitatoka kwa hizi.
Douglas, I want to be radical a little bit.
So how do you share with them? Okay.
I want to grab the moderation for you for a second and do a question to them. Who told you men don't cry?
It is okay.
No, but
Not
who
to
told
be
you
okay.
men don't cry?
Men do cry.
The society. No, I want to answer that directly.
Yes.
The society. I've been brought up in a society. Let me just ask a simple question. We are men here.
Yes.
So if we all work in an office somewhere.
Yeah.
If a lady starts crying in the office, what is the most logical thing that we do? we go to them,
Comfort
we
them.
comfort them, we ask them what is wrong. Oh, I'm sorry. We run around looking for tissues and we try to
You
understand
act as a
their
superhero.
issues.
But let the man cry.
What happens when the man cries?
Isn't that what we say?
Yes,
Of course.
yes, yes.
Isn't it? So mwanaume in fact, and he's very right.
Yes.
We are brought up in a society that says mwanaume ni kujikaza. Men do not cry, bana. You don't do these things. And I remember one day, so this is it, I went to a funeral and I got really taken over by it. And I went behind my mom and I had a handkerchief and I was sobbing. And so somebody came to me and told me, we elder. Bwana, unalia mbele ya
They
watu.
don't expect that from
And
you.
I wondered, Jesus himself cried.
Yes.
Mimi ni nani?
Did you,
But anyway,
did you hear what they called you?
yes.
Elder.
Elder. You know, they are putting even a position.
In a box.
Already you are fixed.
So the question is this. So men don't talk. How do we make them start sharing? How do we make them talk? What do we do to make them talk?
I'm thinking, first of all, reasons why men don't talk. Men are not involved in so many social activities, unlike women. And due to this, and with the societal thinking that a man should handle his things, no matter what he's going through, you're supposed to come out boldly. So this is a thing that is making men not to maybe come out very well and express themselves. But my thinking is, if we would involve these men in activities, in programs, and give these people opportunities even to express some things, out of that maybe they can come out of the cocoon.
And very well. Tito, in your line of duty, you do a lot of community work and development and engagement with communities. So back to the PCMF, because we believe that the PCMF should be able to pick up talent, kusaidiana, kuinuana, sindio?
Yeah.
Oh, yes.
Are there any measures being taken? And probably, and we need to ask about the PCMF groups that you are in. Are there any measures being taken to support these men who are collapsing under stress, who are getting into depression? Our sons, our youth who are committing suicide, who are getting into those. Are there any measures? And if none, what is it that we feel inaweza fanywa? What can be done to saidia?
I think that's a really deep question, and I want to pick up a bit before responding to that, what my co-panelist here said. And I think it's Darwin who said it's not the strongest species that survives, but one that adapts the most. And we are living in times where adaptation needs to be the norm. The old man who could not cry behind their mother because they are an elder needs to adapt and realize that crying is actually one of the ways of expressing your emotions and
healing.
Then secondly, you asked about why, but also pointed to what Douglas was asking. I think for me, the lowest that maybe a man can ever get, and I'm using myself as an example, is being vulnerable. And vulnerability exposes your manhood.
Very true.
And what is, I think in psychology, I'm not a psychological expert, what is called the ego. So if a man is vulnerable, then it means the ego is scratched. And if the ego is scratched, then everything starts falling apart. So in terms of what we need to do, I think we need to continue with these conversations, first of all.
Sure.
That telling men, it's not just crying. There are other ways of expressing your grief, of course, if it's not violent, or expressing your vulnerability.
Yeah.
But teach our boys, for those who are blessed with boys, from a very young age.
Yeah.
Because why I asked, who said men don't cry? Because it's through socialization that some of these things are instilled in us.
Yeah.
Oh, you can't cry, or you can't do this, you can't do that. Speaking of which, in our program, I saw it on Friday, they are saying men should cook and serve their family.
Okay, hold on right there. So you dropped me at men should talk to their boys.
Yes.
Men should do. Do men talk to their? In fact, do men communicate? Do men talk to their boys, or is it? You see boys with their fathers, isn't it? Rarely. Ni nani upeleka boys kinyozi? Is their mothers?
Mothers, they are doing that.
So where are you men?
Just
I must put a disclaimer. Let me first put a disclaimer. I'm a father of girls.
Welcome. We are safe here.
Is it? So men, where are you when the mothers are taking their children to kinyozi? Wanapigwa makrukat, then you start saying they are not man enough.
In fact, let me be very frank. I'm also saved. Let me also be frank now. But we need to realize that before we even look at what can be done, we need to tell men out there that you need to be willing to come out. You need to make the first step to the vulnerability of yourself, to express yourself. Because
to be man enough.
yes, to become a man enough. Why would you be left sleeping? And of course, forgive me if this is what you do, as your wife takes your kids to school. I don't see the logic of it. But I would want to tell you how we treat children very differently. I'm a father to girls. I take my girls to school almost every single morning. But like today in the morning, I saw something. A father was with the son and they reach a shop. And the father gives the boy some money to go buy. And the boy comes and says what he wants. And we try to make sure that what the boy is saying is what he wants.
You're empowering the boy.
The father asks from a distance, wewe ujui kununua ile kitu unataka?
Demotivation, intimidation, and that is where we are,
Yeah.
isn't it? At what happens? You see, communication is very key.
Yes.
Sure.
Isn't it?
Yes.
And this man, for his wellness, home is the place that you go to put your feet up and relax and say how your day was.
Yes.
Leo nimepigiwa kelele na bosi wangu. Mimi sijui, she will tell you mzee, you know you are the king here. Isn't it? You've ebu kwanza take your tea. Don't worry about it. Isn't it? Do we speak about them, or do we go and revenge on our day and just say what's wrong with you, kupigana huko na kila kitu?
Normally, what happens, if I take a case scenario, is that when men, as we are saying, men take themselves as the pillars of the home. And mostly when women come into the home, they are the first people even to express how their day was. But now, you as the man on the receiving end, who's receiving all that was happening in the woman's day, then it reaches a point, she has exhausted everything, then you're supposed to give solutions.
As the man.
As the man.
So who has said how the day was?
The lady.
Ndio, katikati ya mazwali.
Yes.
Ng'ombe imekunywa maji. Si ndio?
Zote. So the man.
Umezima stima ya stop.
So the man here is at the receiving end.
Yes.
And is expected to give solutions to the happenings, whatever was happening in the course of the day. So at the end of it all, this man will reach to a point and now do I start now venting on what was happening on my side? No, you suppress that in your heart.
Hold on. What is the role of the woman in the man's life? Without complicating the sentence. It says to be, when you got married, to be my
helper.
So what do we understand by helper? Partner, decision maker, vitu kama hizo.
Yes.
So why, by the time the man is being told to be able to, expected to make all the decisions, kwani haja empower mtu?
It's not about empowerment. And that's why we are saying our history needs to be set straight. We need to start it young and not start it when at the level of some old age. Because that's why I think PCMF in the church, in the Presbyterian church, is a very important arm for the men.
Very true.
Because at least there is somewhere, you know, even when the wife comes home and that's all her day was, she also went to a chama over the weekend. and they were able to discuss different things.
Where did the man go?
Where did the man go? If,
So you're suppressing too much.
if
as the man.
yes, if the man had no anywhere else to go.
But, but Douglas, the men need to go somewhere. I think that
And they go for
that is-
PCMF.
It's important.
Yeah, that's a-
How often?
No, that's a line we kururira how. Men need to go somewhere. But I'm
Get out.
asking myself, and then this is a very introspective question.
Yes.
When is the last time in our men fellowships, apart from the chairman asking the one announcing there to ask, "Athuri mutigwo hadini thutha wa githomo?" When you get to those meetings, apart from doing minutes, when is the last time you had a very cordial discussions about life, not politics, not how cows are dying because it is. When is the last time you
Not
had?
one I can remember.
So where are these men then supposed to go? If we are saying they are supposed to go to the PCMF, but when we go to PCMF, we are actually going, because when you go to those meetings, the expectation is you are supposed to provide solutions in those meetings.
True.
So remember, you have a deficit of solutions that you are supposed to provide
And also you have
over the
the-
entire week
Yeah.
to some people, including in your workplace. Then on Sunday, when you're supposed to go and with Torora yourself,
True.
you're actually now expected to, and especially the younger men, when you sit with the wazes, they will tell you, hii kazi ya kuandika minutes, hii ni ya vijana. Kama nyinyi.
Okay, so men need to, we clearly need to do outreach programs. We need to go out of the confines of fellowship to just go reach out. And I know from and again I'll speak about the Goto parish, went out this whole week, and they went, apart from cleaning and doing, those kind of manual things, I know they also went out and started visiting the aged. They visited elderly couples and PCMF members or non-PCMF members, those who've been sick, that kind of thing. So that needs to start happening even out of the PCMF week.
Very true.
Exactly.
Sorry, but I want to, I'm a bit radical.
Speak,
sometimes.
speak,
I want
speak.
to get back the bullet at you. You know, the first rule of an emergency situation, from my basic emergency training, save yourself first before you can think of saving the other person. The people that we are asking to go out there and rescue others,
They are sick
are wounded.
and wounded.
They are in crutches. They are in.
there's a
So how do you
The
expect
people
them-
going out.
Yes, the people going
The
out.
ambulance has no battery.
Inaweza kakwama.
So even before we continue with the
imeshakwama.
conversation, how do we build from the inside
So we
out?
must get the solution for ourselves first before we reach out there.
The solution which we don't have here. So we need another forum to come and give feedback.
No, but I think the purpose of this discussion, if I'm getting it right, is to stir further discussions and for people to reflect within their contextual areas, because the context vary. For my friend here who is in the urban setting, and for me who is in the village, the context really vary in terms of what can we do to solve these things. And I think by provoking these discussions, it is asking the men who are watching this show out there in their whatever context, do a self-reflection.
What are you willing to
What do you have, first of all? What assets do you have within the men that you have? And what can you do within your context to reverse this situation? Because the suicides and the deaths are not only happening in the...
Okay, so let's shift gear and talk about drug and substance use. So we have got the four major, most common, if you allow me. So there is what? There is cannabis, bangi.
Alcohol.
There is miraa. There is cigarette.
Yes.
And there is alcohol.
Yes.
And alcohol is by and large the hugest, the big, the problem.
Yes.
Is a very big problem, which has affected even our old ones as well as the young ones even in school, isn't it? We know that being one of the big menaces that are there, needs to be addressed. Unfortunately, even inside our youth in the church, even inside the PCMF, it is a big thing. Yes. Because we know that after every day
every time there's a function, these badges are collected in the dens. So what? Again, the same question. Do we have arms within the PCMF that can be able to do a reach out program? Are there any that are happening? Are there any that we think have been happening around to be able to do some counseling, to be able to go and do? So first of all, awareness, because awareness is that we may know and prevent, isn't it?
Yeah.
So are those things happening? Then two, are we doing anything to do with counseling for those who have gotten it, rehabilitation for those who have? If at all somebody had been an addict and went for rehab, do we do follow-up visits? Is there anything like this that's been happening? Is there anything like this that we can get to do?
Basically, let me start by saying, let me break it down a little bit and why alcohol is the biggest problem. Because alcohol, until you are addicted, has no stigmatization. It's seen as if it's cool, it's no problem. People don't really care so much, you don't hide so much until you are addicted. Then you start getting the stigmatization. Now you have a problem, and people don't want to associate with somebody who has a problem. But for the other ones, you will just look at it. If you meet a PCMF member or a man eating miraa, you'll get the concept. You will not see anyone taking bangi when they are openly somewhere. But this is a concept that we also need to address by the aspect of the social, of where are we coming from. Because in the African concept, some of these things like alcohol is used for ceremonies. And so it was in the back of our mind, something tells us that kidogo si mbaya. It's okay. It's okay to.
It's accepted.
It's acceptable in the society. Just small until you get addicted. So from where we are coming from, and then we have come into the modernization where it is everywhere. In that, from the aspect of saying a small one is not bad, it was restricted to a particular group of people and for particular ceremonies. But now in the modern society, we have it everywhere. So are there aspects, are there things that we are doing? Yes and no. Because yes, in the aspect we have an open ground. We have an open space where we can be able to address these issues. The no aspect is that we take too long maybe to be able to reach out.
All right. We reach out when things are too
to the extreme.
Just
and to pick up and my thoughts around this topic, and every time I have had these conversations informally or formally, I think the biggest danger has always been creating the us versus them kind of approach. And it is us who don't take against
them
and us.
That take. And that now becomes a very volatile conversation because it becomes you or someone else trying to defend, why am I doing that? And the few times we've had that discussion, or the many times, it always ends up at my drink, my choice, my money, my choice. So how do we break down that? I think remains a big question in terms of what we are saying. How do we create a neutral ground and create understanding where people don't feel like, I am being condemned, I am being pointed out, and whether it is actually a psychological issue.
Yes, okay. Is a PCMF member a role model? And I'll say this because the Women's Guild, and I'm no authority there, they are vetted, they are checked, material shuke, all of those things. They go for a 2-year stint as they're being checked and all of that, isn't it? Following. They go, the followers, isn't it? For us, please come. Come to the fold.
Every other man.
We shall embrace you, every other man. And once you get through the certain stages, you then get to get your tie and badge and you're a full member. it doesn't matter if you step out of the gate and light up your cigarette. Are there, what measures can we take? And I don't know if I'm really putting, if it's too risky to bring up. But are we role models? Do we have a role to play within society? And especially because we are allowed to wear our badge Monday to Monday. Do we have a role in society, even for those non-members? What role can we play? What's our role there?
I think most of these people, and especially the men who are not saved, yet they are part of the PCMF, when they come to the group, they've been accepted, all of them, irrespective that you come to church, then after that you'll go, maybe they're social beings, so they'll go out there to meet other men. And maybe because of the company they are encountering outside there is a company that maybe takes one or two, and they'll get themselves involved. So the question is, we that are part of the PCMF and are not, we don't go for the drinking spree and all that, are we role models to bring these people on board and to make them part of us? That is the big question. Because if we don't have anything we are offering, they are outside there in their social activities. There's so much that is enticing. But inside here, there's nothing much we are doing. So that is a major problem. So from my side, I think we don't have much to woo them from the other side.
And staying back to psychology now that he's mentioning, and I think it's a point I mentioned in between, I think. Are we looking at it as a psychological issue that someone is using Veve, Gox, Ketepa, name it, whatever. I know now Bangi, there is Shash, there is all those categories. Are they using it to suppress something? Just like you cried behind your mother. Why did you cry behind your mother in the first place? Why not in front of people? So you are trying to suppress something. Yes. So are they using...
I'm a man.
Yes. So is it... So and that is a very technical issue. So you need to bring them into the fold, but then provide the space to discuss. Why every time before I get home, I have to pass by my local, and this reminds me, I think, the memes flying around.
Yes.
And I think it's my wife who shared with me one sometimes back of a man sitting in the bar, then imeandikwa hapo wacha akule kakuota kwa sababu anajua nyumbani ni kamande na kelele. So is it a way of someone trying to suppress something?
Yeah.
And that's why in these spaces, and I mentioned about assets, we need to find within ourselves in those spaces of discussion. You have someone psychological understanding, because there are people who take one for the road as leisure, but there are others who are taking all those things to suppress something in them. Yeah. So I think that for me would be a perfect solution.
You know, just bringing that one up, there's a story that goes that the man works hard, is head of the house, is in control. The children get to do school and leave home. The man retires, anabaki nyumbani sasa. Hata jioni watoto wakikuja, anabaki na yeye kwa sitting room peke yake. Gazeti na kanyau. Zindio? The kitten, those are the companions. Gazeti?
Yeah.
And so let's discuss that when we come back from the break. Let's get to find out what is it happens, where do we drop the ball, where does relationships start dying between our children and our spouses so that we end up in that situation. Remember, when the children go to their homes, who goes visiting and spending the night and kukaa kutembelea watoto?
The woman.
When the children go to the USA and Canada, nani utoka nje kutembea? What happens to us? So let's think about that when we come back from the break. Viewers, this is CAC TV. It has been PCMF week. We're discussing about psychological wellness. We get to understand that, first of all, men, we need to talk. We need to get out. We need to socialize. Let us play football. Let us play volleyball. Those who like cycling, tufanye hivyo, tuweze kuongea, tuweze kutoa, so that we may live longer. We know that our children are following what we do, our behavior. We are role models within the society. We need to discuss what happens and what goes wrong, what should be done. Keep sending us your texts on tweet, on WhatsApp, on SMS. Tutaweza kujibu. We shall discuss this. We are all brainstorming and learning together. We shall be back after the break. Keep it here. Keep it CAC TV. All right.
Nitafanya kazi ya Bwana, nitafanya, fanya kazi, fanya kazi, kazi ya Bwana. Nitafanya, fanya kazi, fanya kazi, kazi ya Bwana.
PCA Housing Cooperative Society Limited, a cooperative society under the Presbyterian Church of East Africa, brings you Baraka Gardens. Located 2.5 kilometers from Ardhi Shopping Center, 15 minutes from Thika Superhighway, at the 40/80 serviced plots. It is a fast developing area strategically located at a central place for easy access to the capital city and Thika town. Nearby social amenities include a police station and primary school, water and electricity. The plots sell at 560,000 Kenyan shillings for PCA Housing Society members, 600,000 shillings for non-members. The prices are inclusive of the title deed fee. For more information, call 0708 145 222, 0708 145 222. Hurry and grab your plot now. Pay a deposit of 200,000 Kenyan shillings and the balance in 3 months. Baraka Gardens by PCA Housing Cooperative Society Limited.
It's Christmas already here at CAC TV. Are you a business looking to advertise your brand and products to potential customers? Are you looking to improve your sales as we end the year? Starting this October till January 31st, 2023, we are offering you, our customer, various discounts up to 50% off our advertising rates. Imagine paying half the price to reach customers countrywide. Usiwachwe nyuma hii krisi. Call our sales teams now on 0738-278-506 or 0739-971-607. Contact us on email bnkogie@caktv.org or munyoroku@caktv.org for more information. Hurry and book now. Pamoja tuvuke mwaka. It's the CAC TV and your advert bonanza.
Life is constantly changing, and so can your finances. Give yourself the comfort and plan ahead. Protect your family's financial future at CAC Insurance Agency. We will facilitate a full range of life insurance plans. To find out which plans work best for you, call us on 0700 161262 or 0780 203203. Email us via cacinsurance@pcea.or.ke. CAC Insurance Agency, a step into comfort and peace.
Nitaitika fanya kazi, fanya kazi, fanya kazi ya Bwana.
All right, welcome back. This is CAC TV. It has been PCMF week. We are delighted to have our guest here. We've got Tito, we have Peter and David.
Yeah.
Before we went for break, tulikuwa tunaongea kuhusu wazee ambao wanabaki nyumbani, they have no one to talk to, they are kind of alone. Tukasema wanabaki na gazeti na paka kwa sababu mama na watoto wamejifungia strong room, si ndio? Wanaongea pande hiyo, so there is no conversation. Where does the rain start beating us? Where do we go wrong? At what point do we lose the connection with our families? Ndio tuanze kukua sisi ndio tunabakigi peke yetu. Peter.
No, because thanks Douglas, because you said you are a father to teenagers and
Yes.
some getting out.
Yes.
These men here are fathers to young children.
Yes.
And in one of the concepts we say, they are observing and learning from us from a very young age. Now, when we start thinking that discussing how the affairs of the kid was in school is nonsense, new total with them, we start getting the rain beating us at that level. Because the father will come, hey, no, you are disturbing. So
It is time for news.
You know, it's time for news. If the only other person who can be able to handle that stories is the mother, they create a bond. So the bond doesn't start now. No, it doesn't start today. It started somewhere back then.
So David,
Yeah.
I am not asking you for you. Let's say usually ni nani hufanya homework na watoto?
Mostly, definitely, most men, and I say this having the highest percentage of men who come very late in their home place. Now, the only person who's available, mostly they are women.
First wacha kutetea men. Just answer. Who do homework?
That is the women.
Okay.
Women do homework.
Why? And okay, no.
The availability of the men is scarce in the home. So first
Where
of all,
are they? Where are they? Because that's a question we should ask ourselves.
so when their availability is not there, this kid will definitely look for someone else who will be of assist, and definitely that's the woman. That's when my brother here, Peter, is saying that is when the rain starts. So if the rain starts from the homework stage, what do you expect in teenage? So
Because
wewe utakuwa wa kutoa.
And Douglas, I wanted to come in and say, we also need to set it clear whether we are, nowadays there's artificial rain. So one of the artificial rains that we are creating for ourselves men is who disciplines children. when the worst crime is done at home, where goja baba yako akuje.
so when ni Herode.
So when you're Mwakali in that home.
Sika.
So whenever there is maybe slight issues to be handled, the mother does that. But
So when the mother, when the children want biscuits, so you're told na watoto wanataka unapeana pesa, nani amenunua?
Na unapeana pesa.
Unapeana
Si
pesa.
watoto umenunulia, unapeana pesa.
So no agora.
so it's the mom, because the mom is the one who is giving the money to the kid. You might have given the money.
So perhaps we are misunderstood.
Yes. 100%.
So we are the good people.
No, definitely we are good. Definitely we are good.
First of all, the major point here is our availability is even costing us. Because if I'm not around, and maybe there was a request that these children need school fees, then because of my busy schedule and all that, I send money to my wife. Then the wife pays the school fees. Even the kid sees the mother paying the school fees. Who paid the school fees? Definitely, it's the mother.
It's physical. They will definitely deal with it
And
at that point.
kids don't do what you say. They do what you do.
As Douglas looks at the questions, maybe what we need to ask ourselves is this availability by design? Are we designing in availability that you are not available because you are busy?
It's the societal mind that was
Mzee hawezi kuja kuona news.
Mzee ingiagi kwa boma mapema. Mzee ingi kwa boma mapema kama kuku.
Mzee haoni kukumbagia kwa nyumba. But again, we look at it because we need to agree that the way we have been structured by the society, we need to come out and maybe agree to change. Because Douglas at one point asked us, when the children are going out of, they have gone out of the country, and who goes to see the grandchildren? It is the mother.
Yes.
No, why? Now, I have an answer to that. The African society has taught us who sees children.
You know,
that concept here, who goes to
Okay, ni
the
sawa.
child?
Ndio. No, that is baby. Si ndio?
Now, that happens.
But when your son has gone to the States, who goes to visit them? In fact, not even who goes to visit. Who does the son ask for?
The ticket
Kuja
is given to the
unitembe.
mother.
Ticket inatumwa kwa nani?
Because of the connection.
But what will you
It's
go
the
to do?
connection.
What will you go to do in the US?
Kwani mama ameenda kufanya nini?
Si ameenda kuangalia watoto.
Si unajua
Wewe umeenda kufanya nini US?
No, definitely.
the society has taught us that the mzee was supposed to become watoto wakuja waone nani?
Yeye baki na mbuzi.
Mzee akuja
Nani
waone
hutumiwa nguo?
Okay.
Sababu yeye ni mtetezi wao
Yes,
sasa.
but now again we need to look at the point of what is the need of the kid. Is it psychological? Is it emotional? And because we never provided the emotional aspect at the younger age, they leaned to the mother.
All right, so there is something which is coming, clarity is coming, that as the men, we need to be more active with our children.
Yes.
From when they are small.
Yes.
Sindio?
For us to connect with them.
For us to connect. Tukienda swimming, mzee ako pale kando. Sindio? Mama ndiye anacheza kwa
migi.
Sindio?
Yes.
Hiyo ni ya watoto.
But Douglas, I'm also connecting to something you're saying, if you allow me, is two things. There is this animal that we keep pointing to called the society, that we seem to be accusing to have brought us up in a certain way. Secondly, we are acting ourselves out of the situation, because what did we go through? I have an old mzee friend of mine, he keeps telling me, in quote and unquote, we are products of a lost generation. But then the question is, if we did not run to our fathers, because they were not available, for lack of a better word, this is the discussion that is happening here, then how are we expected, or how do we expect that we can create that space? You know, we are having discussions, I think, with someone very close, asking me, when is the last time, as a daughter, you allowed, as a father, you allowed your daughter to hug you? You know, a hug. In those old days,
It's even a sin.
Would your sister hug your father? Maybe it was unheard of.
Okay.
So in that whole mix, you know, where are we?
And so that's it. Are we too male to become human? And do we put them away? You know, you PCMF guys are the ones who walk 10 feet in front of your wives. Isn't it? Unaulizwa kaiwaka wiki. Isn't it?
Na umevaa koti ya PCMF.
Yes.
Na umevaa kamojeo ka PCMF. Si ndio? Kanaenda kakiflap na labda hata mnaenda nyumbani na sababu because you are the man, yeye ndiye ako na funguo ya padlock, uende usimame ungojea afike.
Yes.
Isn't it?
Yeah.
Are these some of the things that are playing us in terms of even making us psychologically unwell, giving us issues that are, like you're saying, artificial rain hitting us? Are they some of them? In
fact, I want to interject and bring in a category of, he mentioned something, we are a product of a lost generation. I want to bring in something else that we need as men to accept and work on it. because it is just through working on it, then we ask ourselves, why do we create stigmatization in parts? Let's take a very genuine example. When a girl gets pregnant, everyone is under the aspect or the questioning of, why did you get pregnant? No one asks, who is the man responsible
For the pregnancy.
for the pregnancy?
Actually, it is the failure of the mother.
Yes, no, we push it now again to the mother. You know, you have not
Because
been
we can't handle
talking.
it at our level.
We
You
have not
see-
been talking.
Excuse me.
You are
Mwana
daughter.
waku ni wataramwoni ya kwagirire.
So now,
So the
as
blame
men,
goes back to the woman.
the man who
Then you call
impregnated,
her that thing that choose grass.
now the man that impregnated this girl has no stigmatization, has a block on the society. Now the society again becomes positive now. You block us from being known. Impregnates another 5 girls without questioning.
So let me tell you, when I was a teenager, so one of the girls would visit home and their people would come and visit. She got not even before then. The majiranis called and they called my folks and said, turenda woka. Kuna kashida, msichana wetu like this, like that, utakuwa Saturday. So of course they say, yeah, siku za landlines, yeah, tutakuwa. That is the first time in my life my father took me for a walk.
After that meeting.
No.
Or before?
After the phone call.
After
So
the
when
phone
I
call.
Saturday. So we went for a walk.
The long walk.
That long walk.
That has to be wrong.
So we are talking Nongari way.
You see even the conversation.
And the conversation was not, there is this, so I asked, okay, what? No, but si kina nani wanakuja. So I said, okay, yeah, is it you? So dad, if you start asking, is it me, what? Unaweza bandikwa sana. Is it?
You
So
expected
just talk about the communication.
to join dots.
Join dots, but I wasn't part of the phone call. Mimi sijui simu ilipigwa.
What
Mimi
was
sijui
it?
kuna mtoto tubeless. I don't know what's going on.
Yes.
Isn't it? So I'm asking dad, I with that respect, I don't know what fulani wamesema this has happened. No. Okay, so are you sure it's not you? Kwa hivyo wakikuja nijue si wewe it is. I said dad, me bana, me I'm a good. Aya, turudi. The walk ended. I think I was even told, by the way, hebu pitia, nunua story imeishia hapo. And he's a good man.
Yes.
But I'm just talking about the conversations people get to have, especially at that critical time. So let's go back to the PCMF. We have got 5 P's. Sindio? Sasa hapa ndio tunajua kama zizi ni PCMF wa ukweli ama sindio? So there are 5 P's which were said about the PCMF. So 1, who is the man at home? You're the priest.
Yes.
You're the
Provider.
You're the provider. You're the prophet. You are the emotique generation.
Is it
Yeah, under pressure.
we are psychological.
We are under CK. We cannot.
So you're the priest.
The priest.
You're the prophet. You're the provider. You're the protector. And there is somebody who said another preventer. I don't know preventer of what. If you're protector, I don't know. But they're 5 by and large. So where do they start? Zinaanzaga wapi? Nikiwa kwa pulpit na hubiri. So for me as a man, what does it mean? What do these 5 P's mean for me? Because you're told even the gospel should start at home.
Yeah.
So do we start from home? Do we take leadership from home? Unajua kuna wazee wengine wamenyeshewa kiasi home, si ndio?
Yeah. Yes.
Wanapiga nduru huko nje lakini wakirudi wamenyeshewa kiasi.
Kweli.
But even in terms of being a priest, do we pray at home? Should we start from home, or do we do that? Okay, you're a minister, so of course, definitely you do. But for the rest of us, how easy is it?
Mostly it doesn't happen like that. And I'll say this because if you've noted, even in so many family setups, we are supposed to be the priests of the home. But you'll find that most men don't even pray, irrespective you're eating or whatever time that you are in that house. So most of the people, you will say, most of the family members, wanajua mama ndio uomba, or even one of the kids. So when dad is requested to pray, they'll brush it off and say, "Where to hoidie?"
Na wageni maino kama kakozana kiasi hapa sababu.
Yeah, it's an issue.
Unataka kuniaibisha mbele ya watu.
It's an issue. And with this aspect that women seem to be so spiritual, unlike us men. So hao ndio wana deal na mambo ya kanisa. So things about praying and all that. So everything what we are saying, this protection, being the priest, being the prayerful, it should start from the beginning, from the child as they are small, because as they grow up, that is when they'll connect. They'll know my father's position is this. He's the priest of the home. He's the one who protects us. How will you protect your kids if you're not available?
He's priest because he can decide how quickly he can clear my life quickly. He can mess me up.
But again, even the availability of that father in that home. You see, the presence could also will be in one way or the other have so much weight, because when the father is there and there is something that is supposed to be done and maybe directions are given from dad, not the mom, then there is a connection in a way.
Then Douglas, he mentioned a very important point. If we are seated here and someone asked you, can you pray? And you delegate, what are you portraying?
Of course I can. I may not.
I can't, either because I am not equipped, I don't know how to pray, or even if I am, I feel too proud to pray in front of my children.
But I'll tell you something, and you're right, but I'll tell you, prayer is one of the hardest things to do. Praying is not easy.
I will tell you why. I'll tell you why, and this is men-based. It is very easy to the women. Because spirituality and emotions are interconnected. You take
say that again.
Spirituality and emotions are interconnected.
Okay.
Same WhatsApp group.
They are in the same WhatsApp group. Prayer is a communication. You go to someone to tell someone, this is how I feel. So if prayer is talking to God, then it means you are vulnerable. You are letting God know, I am not okay. God, this is me. In the smiles, I'm smiling out there, but this is me. So when the man has blocked his emotions,
so proud.
It is the whole way.
It is the whole way.
So I don't express myself. I don't tell my wife my emotions. I don't tell my children how I love them. I do not speak about my emotions. So even to God, nimezoea tu.
Let me just pick this from Genesis. When we are talking about, and let's just pick the four. Being a priest, God created man. And the first responsibility that God gave man was the prophecy. Whatever you name it, it becomes. Whatever you call your children, they become. You call them fools, they are. The aspect of the prophecy from the word go started there. When God looked at this and saw that this man was lonely, the aspect of the other P, a protector, he was given a woman who said, this is the flesh of my flesh, the bones of my bones. Now, they started protecting, and they would provide for that woman.
Yes.
So the concept, the God's creation concept is that the man has to be a priest. Regardless, there was a communication. But anyway, you remember even when he takes the fruit from the woman. I was reading somewhere today, and the writer was saying that when the woman ate the fruit, heaven was surprised or shocked. But definitely when the woman gave the fruit to the man and the man ate, heaven was shaken. Because the concept of God does not have two ways, has no plan B. He has a plan. And that is why in Jeremiah he says, for I have a plan. He never says I have plans. I have a plan for you. So men need to understand from the concept of God, if he had a plan for you, you have to work towards God. You have to look for God so that he also becomes part of your journey.
So, great. How then can we better our relationships? How can we better our wellness? It's coming a lot, like a lot of unwellness, psychological unwellness is starting from home. Query? Yes. And so how then can we better, what if we could just say, how can we better ourselves at home to make ourselves more happier, to make ourselves more comfortable, to better our relationships? What can we start doing? Both from a PCMF point of view, to be say as we shall work on this, yes, as well as individually.
My point will be, let us play our part as the fathers of the home, without the notion that what will the society say? What will other people say? What will other people think about me? Because this is my family. I'm the head of that family. And I know the kind of direction or the kind of family I want to raise. So without putting all the mentality that men are not supposed to do this, men are supposed to do this, put that aside. Do it your own way. And start it from there. Because if you connect with your family, even outside there, being a social being, if you can handle your home, then outside there you can handle things.
Now, where do I start? I walk into the house and the first thing I say is, the minute I touch that gate, everybody goes, yeah, then the minute I come in, the only thing I say is, iko wapi chai?
Because you're not
and walk in with the shoes into the cabinet and iko wapi chai? Ng'ombe imekamuliwa, maziwa ilikuwa toka kilo ngapi? So questions. But if that is me, where can I start? Where do I start to start chewing to make things a bit easier? How do I start warming up?
I want to agree that there is what I am and what I am expected to be. And we need to understand that I need to work on myself for me to be able to make a progression in everything that I do. So as you ask, we need to reevaluate our life. And we're going to want to pick this from the theme of the PCMF. When we are talking about godliness, what does it bring in us? Reconciliation. We need to ask ourselves as men, then how do I step back and reevaluate my life? Because if men would take time and go through the story of Joseph, they would find that he had to reevaluate. Because if he didn't evaluate, then he would live in bitterness forever. He would have to do some things, forgiveness as part of it. And on this, maybe I would try to pick, if you allow me, 6 points that I thought would be essential as we look forward to a mentally, psychologically fit man. One is that in our evaluation, we have to allow ourselves to handle complex situation or environment properly. And tell ourselves, if you are married and you have a wife as a helper, then what does helper means? You are not the boss. You are to work together. The second thing, we have to have the same acceptance. I am the man, this is me. Because if you do not know who you are, then it becomes hard for us to tell you how do you behave to become a better person. The other thing I would want to share is that men have to accept that the aspect or the sense of anatomy, that your decision, how are they based? Are they based in God?
All right. We have been told, it has been said, ladies and gentlemen, We are told that spirituality and emotions are connected. We've learned that psychological wellness, a lot gets to start from home. While it may get to start from the external, there's a lot we can get to do to manage it, to better it, and it's never too late. You're watching CAC TV. It has been the PCMF week. We have come to the end of our show tonight. I wish to thank Tito and Peter and David for your insights. Please, let's continue praying for men. Let us continue working together. PCMF, as the week ends, we have got a lot to do. So that next time we get to meet, we can get to say what has been done, the progress that has been made, the achievements that have been done. My name is Douglas Nyoro. Good night and God bless.
Amen. Amen.
Nitaitika,
Akiniita,
nitaitika,
akiniita,
nitaitika, nitafanya kazi ya Bwana. Nitafanya, fanya kazi, fanya kazi, fanya kazi ya Bwana. Nitafanya, fanya kazi, fanya kazi,